It feels like an eternity. It's been a long, long wait, but we are back for Season 2 of the PlayStation 4 GT3 division. Quite a few changes this season. We've got a lot of drivers changing around. Quite a few of the cars have also been recalibrated, but Skarky Puppy returns to defend his crown. But last season at Le Mans, we saw Diogo Pinto appear, and who knows if he is going to be one of the big challengers who's going to step up to the plate and really push the drivers. Good evening to you all. We are live here exclusive on Twitch.tv, unless of course you're watching the video replay on YouTube. I'm Pete Marcroft and this is Excellent Racing League. We are here at round 1 of the second season, and it is at the GT3 Catalunya in Barcelona, Spain. One of the tracks which really endures the best in terms of driving. You find the teams coming here often in terms of being able to generate the best from the cars. Lots of downforce, lots of high speed, plenty of opportunities to go hell-bent for leather. The chat box is open here live on Twitch.tv, so of course you can get involved. One of the things we're going to highlight before we carry on, however, is a slight change to the format this season. We have a total of 14 races, but 4 of them are going to be very special events indeed. We have a race at Silverstone in the Formula A, so a bit of Formula 1 kind of action. We've got a replica of the Bathurst 1000 touring car race at Australia's Mount Panorama in the Ford Falcon GT car. We've also got an IndyCar race taking place at Road America, and the final season race, the race number 14, is at the Circuit de la Sable in Le Mans, France, and that will be in LMP1. But tonight is GT3 action, so let's get out to the track where the drivers are out qualifying. So the moment on board with football 67611. Last season driving in the BMW Z4, this time here in the RUF with that rather quiet engine. You don't really hear much from it. It's like a huge amount of inside curb there going into turns 13 and 14. So that's going to give him a straighter line here, but he's got to be careful it doesn't compromise him when it comes to setting a qualifying time. Camera doing his usual trick of on the pitch straight, not playing ball. Now of course if you are out there on the stream, you can get your messages in on the Twitch chat box. I'll do what I can to get through the messages for you. So here we go. Starting the lap of football 67601. He's out to the first one of the Hendon Snake. That's currently our champion, Skarky Puppy. So we'll get on board with him in the Aston Martin V8 Vanquish. Yes, he switched from the Germans over to the British cars, and it's going to be a question of whether he can defend that title or not. In practice, looks a bit off the pace actually, a few tenths off the top guys, likes of Diogo Pinto, likes of Ace Killer, who've really brought their game here to Catalunya. But it's the first race of a brand new season, so anything can happen. Current does split time 27.8 for the first sector and a 39.3 for sector 2. He's being chased quite quickly by one of the rough tires. I think that might not stop Harley Dog. I'm not sure who that is behind, but he's keeping right on his tail, getting a really good tow. Going through turns 11 and 12 into 13. Scott will be quite tidy line so far. Doing what he can to really get the pace out of the Aston Martin. Into the turns 14, 15. Look at that inside curve, missing the apex is quite biddly there. All went right through the inside white lines. Do that too often and you may find yourself on the cusp of a penalty. So right on board with Scott, what's he going to set the time split out? It's going to be a 1:43.7. It's provisional pole, but it's a question of just how good that is. As Diogo Pinto, one of the challengers of last season's Le Mans, did a fantastic job. He's also in the Aston Martin V12 Vantage. So another driver who's got a lot of power and pace. I get the feeling this is an outlet for him though, because he's not yet set a first sector time. So we'll be interested to see what he can bring to the table. We have Harry Mansell in the RUF. Looks like he's about to go onto a lap now. So we're right on board one of the newer drivers. He made Boston taking part in the Season 2, Division 2 last year, but this is where it's at 1:56.9. Very much off the pace. Very slow indeed from him. Football 676-1 we were watching on earlier with him is on 1:44.4. Then we've got Wells of Freeze just going out of the pitch now on 1:44.1. And Jamie F430 also on a 1:44.1 in the Aston Martin V12. And then you've got Donar C10 2010 in the BMW Z4. One of the drivers still favouring the old car, doing it 1:43.9. Then Parley Dog is switched to the BMW M3 for this season on a 1:43.8. A 1:43.7 from Ace Killer, who's gone from the McLaren MP4-12C to the RUF GT on a 1:43.7. And a Skarky Puppy, only 3/100 of a second quicker at the moment, driving in the other Aston Martin. So for a top end of the field so far, pace looks very, very close indeed. It's a question as to whether these drivers will really be able to keep that pace going for the remainder of the qualifying session. Let's go on board with the drivers we've not watched to the end so far. Let's ride on board currently with Trying to find what else. I've rolled with Baldwin actually. Last season he rode in the McLaren MP4-12C. Now he's also switched over to the RUF Porsche to try and get himself a lot more pace. So far though, that's not coming to the fore. His current first sector time is 3 seconds slower than the fastest, so he's not going to be trouble in the top of the field at the moment. Football 676-1 on 144-1 is all the way down to 7th place now. Meanwhile, on the screen, Football Racing, you say the Spooky, Wookie and Bco 187 unfortunately have not made the grid. So we did have a full grid for tonight, including myself in the box, but I'm afraid we are 2 drivers down. Needless to say, we've still got a tight grid by the looks of things, and we're going to see quite a lot of action from these guys. Football 676-1, slight improvement to a 144-2, but unfortunately not enough to catapult him anywhere up the field at the moment. Meanwhile, Weisner 3 currently going in the RUF on a 144-1, heading through turn 13 into the 14-15 chicane right at the end of the lap, taking a nice tight line there, clipping the apex beautifully, riding over the white lines nice and fairly. That's exactly how you want to take that corner if you want to avoid any kind of penalties. Getting on board with Weisner, we have to keep the camera switch again, down towards the end of the pit straight at 144-1. He does not improve, unfortunately. Meanwhile, Jamie F413, one of the 2 division heads here, really bringing the game to the fore. He's currently gone back into the box. Well, that was very unsporting of him. Someone should not be able to go back on the track. Dan RC 2010 on the BMW Z4 27.7. That looks pretty confident pace so far in the BMW Z4. One of the few drivers this time is actually rocking that car. The only other driver who's in that is World 242418. Everyone else is pretty much in the Aston Martin or the RUF. We've had a couple in the BMWs. So it's definitely become much more of a DTM kind of race season, this. The likes of Skarky Bobby Diogo Pinto going against the grain with the Astons now. As Dan RC 2010 gets one of the RUFs totally out of the way to the gravel there. Good evasive driving from that back marker to avoid cattering him and ruining his lap. But he's gone very wide indeed, clipped the inside curve there. Lost a lot of traction, and I get the feeling that's going to rob him lots of time. I don't know if this is going to be competitive here for Dan RC 2010, but we'll ride on board to the end. Only a few more corners to go. And who can believe it? In another 7.5 minutes, we've got one tiny little practice session, and then we will be lights out for Season 2 of the GT3 division. Except, of course, for those 4 races that were mentioned earlier on. The first of which will be race 3 at Silverstone, where we will be in the Formula A's. Next week we will be at Imola. A 143.9 from Dan RC 2010 has gone into 5th place. We were Ace Car 15 in the RUF on a 143.7. Looking at the top tail times, just look at that. There's only 0.6 of a second covering the top 5. If you include 8th place, there's only 8/10 between the top 9. There's only less than a second, so it could be very, very tight indeed. Ace Colour 15, heading on towards the end of the line. Is he going to improve here? No, he's not. Currently on a 143.7. We were 94001. One of the drivers who had a sleep with farmers last season could get the occasional podium, but didn't really find themselves at the top step too often. Looking to try and avenge that and get himself back on the pace here. A 143.6 at Catalunya is a very good start. Heading into turn 10, takes a nice wide entry there. Almost runs out of road on the outside as he tries to straight line the corner and get as much pace as possible. Through 11 and 12, taking a nice filtering line, going very much to the F1 approach there, aiming as close to the white line as possible. Into 13, nice winding outside line, avoiding getting driven off into the dash hole. And then it's 14 and 15, and that is as smooth as you like. Really caress the car through those turns. Heading on the final corner now. Don't know if this is a hot lap or not. We're right on board to the end. Goes towards the tax finish line now, and it's a no improvements, I'm afraid. A 144.3 was his last lap, and he's back in the pits. Skarky Bobby Moore, last season's champion, down to 2nd place now, because up in 1st place is Paulie Dog, who's found 0.3 of a second on him. So Skarky Bobby has seen the gauntlet thrown down pretty much here by Paulie Dog in a BMW M3. Now he's taking those lines very aggressively, really hitting the curves, and turns 14 and 15 there, around the kink of 16 towards the start-finish straight, riding on board with the Aston Martin V12, going as fast as he can, flat out down towards the start-finish line. It's no improvement. He's not yet been able to supplant Paulie Dog at the top of the order. 94001, we are still on in 3rd place. Ace Car in 4th. The time's really close here. Looking at the top order again, you can see how all the way down to 8th place we've got the top times at the 144.1, 144.2 for 9th. That's less than a second apart. These guys are really doing well. Diogo Pinto, one of the surprise packages last season, one of the really high performers of the Le Mans race, which we did in Division 2. Managed to catapult himself to a championship performance. He's rewarded to go for the mantle at the top in the big division here. Of course, this season, unfortunately, we do only have the one class. We have one league division this year, purely because we didn't get the drivers for Division 2. But if you are interested in watching, get on ExciteRacingLeague.com, register your interest, and maybe at the half-season point when we do the draft, it might be possible we get a second division going on. Diogo Pinto does not improve. Meanwhile, Dan RC 2010 is now down to 7th place as Diogo Pinto is in 5th. Jamie is what's ahead of them both on a 143.8, so close at the top of the order at the moment. You can see the Paulie Dog on a 144.3 and then 143.6 from Skarky Puppy. But then we've got 94001 who's only 1/100th of a second slower than Skanky. He will be mightily pleased with that, considering the pace disparity from Season 1 here in the Excite Racing League, live and exclusive on Twitch.tv, unless of course you are watching the video replay in a couple of days' time. And no, that's not a mojito, it's Claudio Omenade. Now, heading through turn 13, pace is backed off here. I get the feeling that Knight's trying to give himself some space. As 8:15 goes round turn 4, that mighty, almost Istanbul turn A test corner, where it's very well, he's got extremely wide there at turn 5, almost on a karting line like it's a wet track. Through the kink at 6, it's not really a corner, and then into this mighty uphill 7 and 8 chicane where you've got the sleeping policeman sausage curb on the inside, which, like at the Austrian Grand Prix a couple of weeks ago in F1, can spit you into the wall. You really don't want to touch that. On the back straight towards turn 10, looking at his split time so far, 27.8. A little off the pace at the moment. It's a question of whether he can find any more time. Only 3 minutes to go, and then we will be in the final wall session pre-race here, live and exclusive. Going through turns 11 and 12, looking at a decent life pace, killer 15, but it takes a wide entry into 13, almost misses the corner completely, backs off a little bit, then takes a wide entry into 14 to try and straight line 15. This is a scruffy lap here from Ace Kill 15. I get the feeling it's not going to be anything competitive. Then again, it might be a one when he's gone very wide, almost into the gravel on turn 16. That's compromised him quite badly, and I don't think he's going to improve here. Indeed, he does not. Behind him, meanwhile, Jamie F430 in the Aston Martin. Is he going to improve here? No, he's not. He's still down there. Diogo Pinto, meanwhile, in the Aston Martin V12 Voltage, going through turn 3, trying to go as wide as he can on the outside straight line that gets as much grip as possible on the outside asphalt. On the stream, meanwhile, if you've got any messages, please keep them coming in. We'll be happy to get through them here live and exclusive on Twitch.tv. And of course, if you don't get involved in the chatter afterwards, if you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe to see much more from Excite Racing League. As you can see, Diogo Pinto drifting the car through turn 5. Definitely not taking that in the fastest way. It was stylish, but his tyres are going to be hating him for that. Through 6 and into 7 and 8, looking pretty decent so far at this part of the track. But the question is, has he flat spotted those tyres? Has he caused that wear and damage that's going to make him a bit of a liability later on in the lap here? Through turn 9, heading out towards the fast straight into turn 10. Normally a DRS zone in Formula 1. Not today here in GT3. This is a pure out tailgating performance. It's all about being able to get as fast as possible in the slipstream behind the driver ahead of you. Through turns 11 and the wide turn 12. Feels like a hairpin with how much that corner goes on. Very similar to turn 2 at Shanghai in China, but it's just not quite got the slowness that that corner does. Into turn 13, down to the kink of 14 and 15. Takes a load of the inside curve. Almost straight lines the second corner there. You really can't do that too often in the race, so you will find yourself getting a penalty. But let's grab a ball with Diogo Pinto now with the Aston Martin V12. Trying to find a little extra pace. Can he vault the field? No, he can't. He's still not able to break free at the moment. 8:15 meanwhile. Has he improved on this lap? So far, pace looks okay. Doesn't look like it's going to threaten the top order. Indeed, it does not. Meanwhile, 94001 trying once again in the RUF to get himself on the front row of the grid. He's so close. There's only 1/100th of a second between him and Skarky. RC 2010, meanwhile, has snuck in out of nowhere to get second on a 43.5. These guys are really close at the top of the order. If the racing is like this, we're going to see some serious action here. Live and exclusive for 1 hour of a race on Excite Racing League's channel here on Twitch.tv. Heading for turn 13, wide entry for 940. 4001 misses the outside curve, makes sure it doesn't unsettle the car there. Through turn 14, clips the inside curve, and then uses the straight line turn 15, but he's out of time. So the final grid, well, business as usual at the top of the order. Not at all. Paulie Dog takes a wonderful pole position, and Dan RC 2010 is in second. Skunky Bobby, last season's champion, can only manage third. So it's a question of how these guys go forward. Nightfall001 in fourth, and Ace Cover 15 in fifth, and Jamie F430 in sixth place. So let's get out there to watch this short practice session, 5 minutes, and then after that, it's a case of on to the race proper. And currently most of the drivers enjoying being sat in the pits, it would seem, rather than getting out there and learning any data about the circuit. If it's only a 5-minute session, you might get one lap in, but it can tell you quite a lot about the track. Moving out of the front at the moment, no, still nothing from these guys, all sat in the pits. So for those of you out there who are watching live on the stream, like Flipper Racing, we've got it on the chat box here, live and exclusive on twitch.tv. Get each comments in. Who do you think is likely to be one of the drivers to be challenging Skunky Puppy for the title that he held since last season? As Jamie F430 comes out of the pits, the first one out, 4 minutes to go, so plenty of time for these guys to get round and get a quick lap in, just to give themselves an eye of what's going on. Has the track changed? Is it got less grip? Or is it still one where you can push all out to the wall here? Well, Jamie didn't last long out there. He did 2 corners, almost back in the pits. So let's get on board with Maldovic, who's in the RUF. I think he's the only other driver out at the moment. Flipper Racing on the stream just simply says yes. Yes to what? What are you saying yes to? Throw me a bone here. I don't know what you're trying to tell me. Going through turn 5, Maldovic snaking left and right, really struggling with grip there by the looks of things, making that really difficult for him to get into the power there and really get that performance down. But Maldovic, guy who last season in the McLaren MP4-12C was very much at the bottom of the points, always aiming to come 10th, 8th or 9th realistically. Occasionally got his day towards the top of the podium, but didn't really seem to have the pace. Malovic's got it all to prove. He's made the grid, he's managed the pre-season qualifying, but he's going to be having a sort of Damocles over him in terms of how he can get pace out of that car and get himself up the field, try and get some extra points. In the interim, on the screen, Flipper Racing thinks Diogo Pinto may beat Skunky. Well, he may do, but at the moment, Skunky probably starts this race in 3rd place. Diogo Pinto's down in 7th, so he's out of position in terms of his performance last season at the Le Mans 24 Hours tribute race we did, the double-length stream. And again, this season we will be doing that, but instead we're going even more fit in spirit of Le Mans, as that's going to be an LMP1 race. Well, this week it's all about the GT3 cars here at the Sakina Catalunya, and Maldovic is a 1:57. A very slow time indeed. Now, Diogo Pinto, let's get eyes on him again, as on the stream, Flipper Racing thinks that he may have a chance to beat Skunky Puppy. So far, not quite on the page, but you can always have an off lap in qualifying. We've seen that so many times before. It's all about how you finish the race, and Diogo Pinto was very strong last season, so it will not surprise me to see him battling back here. Going through turns 13 and 14 and 15, coming the inside apex once again, going totally over the inside curb. And that's the kind of thing that the stewards will be looking out for. You don't want to be getting yourself an arbitrary penalty for taking too many limits to the track limits. We're heading for the finish line. I think he's actually just starting a lap. In fact, yes he is. He's only just actually starting one. Now, who else is out there at the moment on an actual lap? Harry Mansell. I believe he's done a first sector time at a 38.4. Not the fastest we've seen. On the stream, Flipper Racing thinks, I think it means Jamie. It says Jemiah. I think it means Jamie at 430. Well, he's stuck himself into a decent position, actually. He's got himself right near the top of the order. He's up in 5th place. So he's definitely within striking distance of that. It's a question as to whether he can deliver the pace on the circuit itself, whether he's able to put that power down. As Harry Mansell goes past Diogo Pinto, who stops down towards turn 10. Maybe he's just a kind of mechanical fault, or maybe he's just had a bad lap and wants to get out of the way. Harry Mansell, meanwhile, not looking like the top dog at the moment. In fact, Diogo Pinto had to abort what looked like a very, very fast lap indeed. Maldovic, meanwhile, he's currently 1:57 as the top. We've only got 43 seconds left here, so we're not going to see much in the way of times. Harry Mansell, 1980, heads towards the start-finish line now, gets on the gas in that wonderful RUF, which took Skunky to the title last season, and he sets a 1:56.5. not world-beating pace at the moment, it has to be said. Now, moving back further for football, 676 number 1 in the RUF. I'll give him a bit of TV time, but I don't think we're going to see the end of his lap time here. Only 15 seconds to go. He's just gone through turn 9 towards turn 10. He's probably going to be about 15 seconds too short here to be able to set a lap time. But again, taking that wide line at turn 10, you can see how he's like trying to get that on a much more GT, much more karting line. But that is pretty much that. So what did we learn from warm-up? Not a lot, I don't think, to be honest. Interestingly, Jamie, he's counted as having a set a lap, but yet he's down at 14th place with no time. So evidently that first attempt has counted. Now, we will be going back to the rolling start. We haven't had one for a good few races, because both the Nürburgring Nordschleife and as well the Le Mans 24 Hour both did not have that performance. Now, I've got to get ready to retire to the pit box and bring you coverage live. It's going to be a rolling start. And already, I think there's been a few problems there. Quite a few of the drivers have been struggling to get out there. So let's get on the gas here towards the front. And I think actually a few drivers are out of position. Diogo Pinto's gone to 6th place. HCO 15 is in 3rd. Then we got in 5th place. So we got Night4001 in 4th place. Scaggy will be in 3rd. Dan RC 2010 in 2nd. And Paulie Dog, excellent 1st place for him as all the drivers start to filter back into position for the rolling start. Oh, contact there between Night4001 and Skarky Puppy going through turn 3. Night4001, got to be careful. They do find himself on the wrong side of the stewards with that. Ace Killer 15 trying to stay closest. Interestingly, Paulie Dog has broken away from everybody else. So what's going on with Skarky Puppy? It looked like he went off the circuit. Indeed he has. Skarky, oh, that's Diogo Pinto. Who is that? That's round. It's football 676 number 1. Who is round? One of the Aston Martins there has quickly gone into the wall. Skarky Puppy now trying to get back towards the front as he gets left back from Ace Killer 15. Because that mistake he made at turn 4. Down lower on the opening lap, 94001 lets him through, so he's back into position. But the champion from last season off to the worst possible start, getting his radiator ducts full of gravel and dirt, and a whole host of other junk from offline that he really did not need. But which of those Astons was it that was off the circuit? I get the feeling it might well have been Wisner. One of the Astons now, I'm not sure which one it was, went off the circuit. No, it's Diogo Pinto. I was right first time. Diogo Pinto is down in 10th place and has only got a few corners to get himself back to 7th. Otherwise, he's going to find himself way out of position here, and that's causing mass compromise to Jamie, Ace Killer 15, and all the other drivers, Wiseman, Someone 676 and Harry Mansell. They've all really struggled here, but we're riding on board now. 94001, we're right on board with the champion from last season, Skarky Puppy, riding out turn 14, 15 and 16. After this, we are going to be racing here for 1 hour at the GT3 Catalunya as 94001 gives Skarky Puppy a little pump there, waiting for Paulie Dog to go. He's going to start going soon and get these cars up to speed, all towards the end of the start-finish line. So Skarky Puppy gets on the gas, gets right into the slipstream of Dan RC 2010 in the BMW Z4, who's all over Paulie Dog in the BMW R3. Skarky Puppy pulls out the slipstream as early as possible down towards turn 1. Dies on the inside, Dan RC 2010, critical manoeuvre. Can he get this stopped into turn 1? He's on the inside of Paulie Dog. Has Skarky Puppy taken the lead here on turn 2? Now Paulie Dog fights back. But now Skarky Puppy tries to go on the inside through turn 3. A tight line, but it is possible to overtake here. We'll see Fernando Alonso did it a couple of times on Sebastian Vettel in Formula 1. And Skarky Puppy really attacking the back of Paulie Dog, where he's just able to get around as 94001 dives on the inside of Dan RC as one of the RUS goes off the circuit. Now Marvin Wisner on 94001 was following him through. This is unbelievable driving at the start here. Dan RC 2010 down in 3rd place now, looking at the back of Skarky Puppy in the Aston Martin V12. Behind him, Diogo Pinto already up to 4th after a catastrophic error at turn 4. Then we've got JBF 430 being chased harshly by Wisner in the RUF. These drivers are very, very close at the moment, heading towards turns 7 and 8. Wisner looking at the inside of JBF 430, just not close enough to attack. And Diogo Pinto now in the Aston Martin, all over the back of Dan RC 2010 in the BMW Z4. Up ahead of them, Skarky Puppy is 2nd place, attacking Paulie Dog behind them. Wisner in the RUF, who's very close to the back of JBF 430, thinks about a bit on the inside, realises he's not going to go through there, backs out of the gas for now, heading through turn 10 into 11 and 12. And Diogo Pinto trying to claw his way back up the field after that mistake. Looking at the back of Dan RC 2010, sorry about the camera work here, viewers. I'm afraid the game's not cooperating as much as I'd like. Heading through turn 13 into 14, 15. Dan RC 2010 almost goes out of road there. That allows Skarky to get right up the inside of Paulie Dog. And Diogo Pinto is looking ready to pounce and poise very close behind him, getting on board at the moment as he gets onto the track back there, don't want that. You can see Danasi 2010 now defending for all his worth as Diogo Pinto, the Aston Martin V12, gets round the slipstream overhead. Meanwhile, look at this, Skarky moving drag racing with Paulie Dog down towards turn 1. Has he been able to get the brakes and get into turn 1 ahead? Yes, he has. Capone, Danasi 2010 goes far too deep, goes over the inside, now has Diogo Pinto to go through. JBF 430 has surely followed him through there. Skarky moving down in the lead, Paulie Dog in second place, look at behind. JBF 430 has got Weisker all over his back as Danasi 2010 tries to go around the outside, take that position back. JBF 430 hanging on to turn 4. Can he just put him out of row here? Heading into this double apex curve? Yes, he can. Meanwhile, behind him, Weister in the RUF. It's pressure in the back of Danasi 2010 really aggressively here. Into turn 5. Vinceland down on the inside. Look at this JBF 430 and Danasi 2010 side by side on the outside of turn 5. Weister looks to the power and going through the kick in 6. Into 7 and 8. JBF 430 surely got the inside line here in the better traction. And that allows it to resist Danasi's attack and go slightly up the circuit. And turn 8 and allows Weister to get side by side with him. Football 676 number 1 meanwhile is looking at a pair of these two and fancying a bit of a go. Weister pulls out the slipstream. Danasi 2010 down towards turn 10. Really getting on the attack around the outside. It's a slower line there. Danasi 2010 breaks very, very late. Goes wide. And allows him to go too far off the circuit. JBF 430 can only look on as Weister goes through. But Danasi 2010 tries to go on the outside of turn 12. But he's just not got the traction there. And now allows Football 676 to want to start closing the gap now. All of a sudden, Danasi 2010, after an excellent qualifying, is going backwards. Meanwhile, up ahead, Diogo Pinto and the Aston Martin V12 looks on at the back of Paulie Dog in the BMW M3, who strangely has not followed the slipstream of Skarky Puppy. Skarky Puppy's broken the toe, and that allows him to get away from now. Diogo Pinto looks behind, as JBF 430 is too far adrift really to attack these guys. So all the action going on in the midfield as Danasi 2010 tries to attack now, but he's just too far behind. Weister, who gets on the brakes nice and early. Danasi 2010 goes wide, he gets on too late there. And now allows Football 676 number 1 to attack. Moving through the back between these guys, Escal 15. And then Night 4001, after going off the circuit at turn 4, all the way down in 9th position. He will be bitterly disappointed with that. But fancy a chance to take 8th place away from Football 676 number 1. Tries to go around the outside of turn 4, but you can see that Night 4001 just does not quite have the traction. And that's allowing Ace Colour 15 to hold the high ground in the RUF for now. There's a battle of the Germans here. As the Germans are coming, and you've got Night 4001 being pressured once more, because right behind it, a number of these Porsche, modified Porsche 911s, is in Dami Mansel's hands in 10th place at the bottom of the points. Meanwhile, I don't know who that was. Who's got off the circuit? It's Weister. Weister somehow made a mistake, so wheel 77 in the McLaren MP4-12C goes into 10th place. Now look at Night 4001 all over the back of the RUF of 8 Killer 15. Trying to go to the inside turn 10, trying to take a tighter line, but 8 Killer slows right down almost to a crawl. Almost caused him to go to the back of him there. He caught him out so much. Getting on board in the meantime, Danasi 2010 trying to catch up to the back of Jamie, who's broken the toe, but this is the interesting bit. Diogo Pinto is now right on the back of Paulie Dog in the BMW M3, and of course Paulie Dog's trying to catch up to Skarky Puppy, last season's championship victor, who only qualified 3rd, but he's leading the race at the moment. We've got 52 minutes to go though, a long way ahead yet, plenty of action to come here. Heading into turn 1, you can see that Diogo Pinto just does not quite have the pace there to close the gap on that BMW M3. JBF 430 hanging on in 4th place, pounding around, but a little bit of a gap has formed between Paulie Dog and Skarky Puppy, and the Paulie Dog's gone wide there, so has Diogo Pinto, so that might ruin their traction a bit and allow for Skarky Puppy, the champion from last season, to look at retaining his crown. Diogo Pinto looking at the inside, trying to get as close as he can to the back of Paulie Dog in the BMW M3. Paulie Dog really punched above his weight with that pole position. A bit of an out of left field surprise there, but unfortunately he's managed to slip down the order to 2nd. Still up for a big handful of points, but Diogo Pinto is all over him like a rash. Despite the off that he had during the warm-up lap, Diogo Pinto has not let this affect him. Moving further back through the field, you can see that Dan RC2010 is in 5th, Jamie's hanging on in 4th. You've got Football 676 number 1, 9400 is broken away as Ace Colour 15 looks at the back of Hammy Mansell. I get the feeling that a bit of a mistake happened with Ace Colour 15. He's now down in 9th place. He will be bitterly disappointed because his qualifying pace was pretty strong, but his race pace just doesn't seem to be matching. And this was endemic of last season when he was in the McLaren MP4 DOS Top 3. I do apologise to my antivirus telling me to restart my computer. Not now, we're in the middle of a race. Heading from turn 13 to 14, 15, you can see that Ace Colour 15 slowly falling away from Hammy Mansell. That's interesting. And in fact, Ace Colour 15 has dived into the box. So the Ace Colour 15's gone in already. Hammy Mansell will now look to try and take advantage of this. 94001 tries to catch up as well. Oh, what? And suddenly I'm going onto his profile. I don't want that. Get me back onto the track. So meanwhile, I've got Football 676 number 1 in the BMW. In the RUF, sorry, even. Then you've got Dan RC2010 in the BMW Z4 attacking the back of Jamie F430, and that gap has come down. But all eyes on this. Diogo Pinto really caught up to Paulie Dog in the BMW M3. Paulie Dog now under big pressure through turn 4 into turn 5. Diogo Pinto's not been afraid to attack. We saw that in the Mercedes SLS that he was driving last season, and evidently he's looking to repeat that performance here for Aston Martin in the V12 Vantage. Heading through turn 6 into 7 and 8, the chicane here, looking pretty strong so far. Diogo Pinto sticking with Paulie Dog, not letting him get away, and he's trying to keep that gap as low as possible. Get good traction off 9, into the slipstream down to 10, so let's see if he can make it work into that wonderful high-speed flow behind the draft of the BMW M5 being part of their Paulie Dog. Diogo Pinto just not able to close the gap. Has he gone for downforce over speed here, I wonder? Meanwhile, behind them, Dan RC2010 has suddenly caught to the back of Jamie F430. So it's all going off. Now, this is always difficult to catch up with here, viewers. I do apologise if I don't catch all the action for you. I'll do my best to bring you coverage here. Live listeners on Twitch.tv. And again, like Flipper Racing, if you're out there watching on the world of the internet, get your comments into the chat box or into the YouTube channel below. We'll do all we can to be able to get through them. Now, Diogo Pinto gets into the slipstream with the BMW M3 being part of a Paulie Dog. Paulie Dog trying to resist as much as possible. BMW wide, you can see it's actually pulling away. That car was on a lot of grunt in a straight line, and unfortunately for Diogo Pinto, he's just not able to close the gap. And the interesting thing for me is that gap to Skunky Puppy does not appear to have really gone anywhere. So it's very much anyone's race, as we've still got more than 3/4 of an hour to go. Anything is possible. Getting on board, looking at the fastest laps at the moment, 144.3 for Skunky Puppy, and 144.6 from Paulie Dog. Then we got 144.4 for Diogo Pinto, 144.7 for Jamie, and a 144.2 for Dan RC2010, fastest lap on the track at the moment. And then we're down to the 145s after that, so it just goes to show it's not all about your position on the circuit that shows your pace. Sometimes you're faster when you're further down the grid, and Paulie Dog is kind of showing that at the moment because he's closed that gap to Skunky Puppy. Skunky Puppy has now started to fall back into his clutches here, and in the meantime, Diogo Pinto has started to fall away. Do the Astons have worse tyre wear? As more than one manoeuvre there from Skunky Puppy, a bit dirty driving that, broke the toe, and that's forced Paulie Dog to go on the attack a different way. But Paulie Dog will not be affected at all. I get the feeling he's going to get as close as he can, and he might fancy a lunge down towards turn 1, which works so well for Skunky Puppy. That gap is almost nothing now. Paulie Dog is driving out of his skin in the BMW M3 to try and get himself back to the top of the order. Skunky Puppy cutting the chicanes, and Paulie Dog was not. That's something I just noticed there. Skunky Puppy was taking liberties with the corners. Now, if that's something he's doing all the time, it is going to get in the eye of the stewards, and especially if he keeps on breaking the toe and weaving on the track. You can't do that. He's weaving far too many times here, and he might find himself looking at a penalty if that carries on. You can't weave more than one direction. It's dangerous. Paulie Dog trying to attack the back of Skunky Puppy. And I get the feeling that Paulie Dog will be feeling a bit aggrieved with some of the methods of defensive driving that Skunky Puppy's been doing here, cutting the final chicane and weaving on the track. It's definitely going to make him a harder target. Paulie Dog will be feeling that he probably made it a bit too easy for Skunky Puppy. And I get the feeling that if Paulie Dog gets past him, it's going to be a proper old-fashioned 80s touring car race where no one gives each other any ground. Because Paulie Dog will have watched that and gone, okay, anything you can do, I can do better. Well, Flip Racing on the stream is saying no, you can't. I'm guessing that's in reference to the weaving, so that might be something that the stewards want to take a look at after the footage is over. But in the interim time, look at Paulie Dog now, getting right on the inside. Once again, you see Skunky Puppy there. As soon as Paulie Dog got into his slipstream, cut to the inside and chopped back across him right before the braking zone at turn 10. And that is asking for an accident, especially if Diogo Pinto gets involved as well by trying to do a move like Mika Hakkinen and Michael Schumacher did on Ricardo Zonta and Spa in 2001, where they both split the car to go past him. If we do that here and he's weaving, we could see a big accident. So Skunky Puppy's got to be really careful. And Diogo Pinto has taken advantage, and once again, Skunky Puppy taking a huge chunk out of that corner. And look at the gap. It's got him going out of turn 16, and that's actually put Diogo Pinto in a massive performance advantage on Paulie Dog. He gets right to the slipstream down towards turn 1 here. A great opportunity. Well, an opportunity out for him to get past as Paulie Dog tries to make him move into the turn. He hangs to the inside, trying to run him out to dry on turn 2. He might go a bit too deep here, and that might allow Diogo Pinto to get a run at him around turn 3, and indeed it looks like he's on the outside. Diogo Pinto fancy his chances here. They're nose to tail, really close here. Look at that, he's almost got his splitter under the bumper of that BMW, but Diogo Pinto is just not close enough. Meanwhile, on the screen, Flipper Racing is saying that why is the spun and collected wheel? I'm guessing that's an accident that I didn't pick up. It's either something that's on another footage or whatever. Needless to say, a bit of a disappointment when that happens, but it's one of the things it's there for. Get as much footage as we can so that everyone has the opportunity for the incidents to be investigated. Diogo Pinto is going to try and make a move at the inside of the hill here. At 7 and 8, no, it's just not close enough. And the Aston Martin now has closed down that BMW M3 really tightly. And Skunky Puppy will be loving the opportunity to try and get a breakaway here as Paulie Dog has to go defensive down towards turn 10, gets in the slipstream, gets right under the wing of that BMW, but once again you can see he's just not close enough. Meanwhile, behind them you get the feeling that there's an overtaking move done there, because indeed Dan RC 2010 has gone past Jamie F430. Jamie F430 is back behind the BMW Z4. Meanwhile, Paulie Dog is still resisting Diogo Pinto as much as he can, heading through turn 13 to the 14-15 chicane, and again Skunky Puppy taking an almighty chop out to that final chicane, really getting over the white lines and taking a huge advantage there. That's allowing it to get that straight line speed off 16, and that's going to be an unfair advantage that you can't keep doing. Meanwhile, Diogo Pinto gets right into the slipstream underneath Paulie Dog in a BMW M3, who goes to the inside, hugs the inside curve, gets on the brake lights, and once again Diogo Pinto trying to attack as much as he can as he goes towards turn 3, and this is an opportunity here for Diogo Pinto. Gets right in the slipstream of Paulie Dog in a BMW M3, but Paulie Dog is driving out of his skin to defend that charge from the Aston Martin, really attacking the curve beautifully and fairly. Paulie Dog is put on a clinic here, and he's gone wide at turn 4, and that's going to allow Diogo Pinto to get a potential opportunity into turn 5. Oh, collision! Diogo Pinto took to launch. Paulie Dog shut the door as he had every right to do into the corner, and as a result of that, Diogo Pinto on a hard spin managed to collect it. Drama at turn 5. There's a damn dare move in the vein of Daniel Ricciardo on Max Verstappen, but unfortunately it did not come off. Diogo Pinto will be a bit aggrieved. He's only lost a few seconds, but he has lost critical time. Dan RC 2010, now that he's managed to get clear of Jamie F430, has really started to open the gap on that Aston Martin, and of course thanks to that incident between Paulie Dog and Diogo Pinto, that's allowing him to suddenly get closer to the actual podium positions back where he started. Let's not forget he qualified second. Dan RC 2010 did a great job. Now, no doubt about it, the stewards will want to have a look at the collision. Oh, meanwhile, Diogo Pinto, he's made a mistake at turn 13. I don't know how that's happened, but Dan RC 2010 has got past him. Dan RC 2010 is now on the podium position, and Diogo Pinto in the Aston is now right under the wing of that BMW Z4. Dan RC 2010 hugs the inside line at the inside of the corner. Diogo Pinto is going to put himself on the grass here if he's not careful. Gets on the brakes. Dan RC 2010, low tyre up there. Dan RC 2010 hangs on. Jamie F430 meanwhile has now joined the party. These three drivers are all really close for that final podium position, and you get the feeling that little bit of contact between Paulie Dog and Diogo Pinto may actually be the proximate call. Diogo Pinto, not Diogo Tinto, I don't know who he is. Diogo Pinto going through turn 4, attacking the back of Del RC 2010 and the BMW Z4, really trying to get as close as he can. They're trying to side them. We see he's not afraid to go nose to tail, wheel to wheel, but it's also one of those where he has that almost kamikaze approach of get in and or die trying. And you wonder if Diogo Pinto might paint himself into a corner later on in the race. Moving up ahead meanwhile, look at Paulie Dog now. Paulie Dog has started to catch up once again to Skunky Puppy. We'll keep up the board here as these two are the leaders. And you can see Skunky was going wide. Skunky Puppy's going wide at turn 10, and that's like Paulie Dog. Oh, he had to get on the brakes there. Skunky Puppy almost collected him when he rejoined the circuit. Paulie Dog will be slamming the steering wheel in frustration at this. On the screen, Thunder Racing is simply saying intense. That's a very good word to describe it here with Excite Racing League's GT3 division, live and exclusive on Twitch.tv. Or of course you may be watching the replay on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Excite Racing League. If you are watching on the YouTube channel, please pop a like and subscribe. If you're watching on Twitch.tv, please follow. As you can see, Skunky Puppy again weaving left and right. Paulie Dog's trying to track him as much as he can, but that's allowing Paulie Dog to lose grip. As Skunky Puppy is able to defend into turn 1, and that's going to cause serious problems if he's not careful. The stewards will no doubt want to work with him. Move back from the field, Diogo Pinto gets a good line out of turn 2, and he might fancy a move on the inside of turn 3 here of Del RC 2010. Oh, almost collected each other there. JBF 430 wisely hanging back and wide, trying to avoid these two, and he goes as well, turns 4, and I get the feel there may have been some action up ahead there, but I've unfortunately missed it, because I'm tracking this. It's impossible to keep up here, viewers, as Del RC 2010 and the BMW Z4 tries to resist Diogo Pinto, who's going to try and get into turn 5. Thinks better of it after his mistake with Paulie Dog, and seeing JBF 430 so close behind him, decides to fight another day for now. But Del RC 2010 is very much living on borrowed time. And meanwhile, somehow it's up on the screen, but Skunky Puppy has been passed by Paulie Dog. Didn't see it, didn't catch it, but Paulie Dog is back in the lead. Skunky Puppy, I don't know what happened. I don't know if there was a collision, I don't know if there was a mistake, but Paulie Dog's been driving at immense pace for the last few laps, and it was definitely a case of when rather than if. Paulie Dog has got himself back into the high ground. Can he use the grunt of that BMW M3 to get himself back ahead and stay clear of Skunky Puppy? Heading for turns 14 and 15, you can see Paulie Dog going over the white line, but look at Skunky Puppy in the interim, cuts in the inside corner pretty much. But again, the traction of the BMW has allowed it to pull away a little bit. Now let's watch Paulie Dog. Is he going to start weaving here, or is he going to stay straight and true? Looks pretty accurate to me, it looks pretty fair. And you can see, look at the difference in speed. Skunky Puppy really able to close down because of the fact that he's not having his toe broken. And that is the difference that being able to weave on the circuit makes. That's why we don't allow it. It's not fair racing. Meanwhile, Del RC 2010 has got JBF 430 behind him. And football, what happened to Diogo Pinto? Oh, he's gone into the pits, that's what's happened. Here's me thinking an accident has occurred off camera. So JBF 430 now looking at the back of Del RC 2010, but he's broken away a little bit at the moment. Skunky Puppy is looking at Paulie Dog too, who's started to pull away. So Paulie Dog, oh, look at the lack of grip there. Skunky Puppy evidently pushing his tyres a bit too much, has started to slide, has started to lose grip, and that's where Paulie Dog has been able to find that extra pace and pull himself into the lead. So we're going to have to use a quick pit stop myself and refuel. So Skunky Puppy looking at the back of Paulie Dog, but Paulie Dog starting to break away a little bit. Del RC 2010 meanwhile in third place being followed by Jamie. I wish the cameras would keep up. Trying to follow the cat action here, but you can see that Jamie F430 has just not got that pace to really close the gap here. Football 67601 coming through turn 10, looking pretty lonely at the moment. 940 is in 6th place, Harry Mansell is 7th. Ace Killer 15 all the way down in 8th place. Diogo Pinto now down in 9th, going through turn 9 after his pit stop. And then you got Wheels 77 down in 10th place, knocking on a point position here. He'll be happy with that, driving in the McLaren MP4-12C. That's Del RC 2010. going through turn 1, looking to try and catch up. Now, this is interesting. Skanky Puppy has started to close the gap again on Paulie Dog. Maybe there was a bit of graining on the tyres. Maybe there was something affecting his downforce. But all of a sudden, that gap has shrunk. So, game on. And Sky goes a little wide at turn 4 though, and that allows Paulie Dog once again to get a little scamper and pull away. So for those of you who are watching live on the twitch.tv stream at the moment, who are your picks? Having seen pretty much half of the race so far, having seen the way they drive, seen the way that they get into collisions, seen the way they push the tyres, who do you think looks a safe bet for the championship? Because Skanky Puppy, while he's had the pace, has also had the tyre problems. Could that be a factor moving later in the season? And again, we are at a bit of lull in the action, I'm afraid, viewers, because the gaps have spread out a little bit. This is where the drivers have really got to put the lap times down. So speaking of that, let's give you a rundown of the fastest lap. So 1:44.4 is Paulie Dog's best. 1:44.3 is Skanky Puppy's. Then Dan RC 2010 at 1:44.2. You got a 1:44.7 from Jamie, a decent lap pace from him. Football is meanwhile 676 number 1 on a 1:45.2. You got a 1:45.29 from Night 4001, just 3 100ths of a second separating their best. Harry Mansell on a 1:45.8, but then Icekeller on a 1:44.3, Diogo Pinto a 1:44.4, Wheel meanwhile a 1:47.5. Yeah, it's keeping him ahead of Wisner, who's done a 1:44.4. So it just shows it's all about being able to keep your pace together and being able to go all on the island. On the stream, Night Flipper Racing at the moment, it seems to be it's the two-man show this evening. He's actually saying that he believes Paulie Dog is the strongest racer. Well, he's certainly shown that in a sense here so far at Catalunya, because while he was done early by Skanky Puppy, we saw in the way he defended from Diogo Pinto, who was really attacking and really pressuring him, and then the way he got back past Skanky Puppy and opened that gap. It's all about the strategy, and that's where Skanky was in real trouble here. His last lap was a 45.3, a full 0.8 of a second down on Dan RC 2010, and Jamie meanwhile actually did his fastest lap on a 1:44.4. So Skanky Puppy has suddenly started falling into the clutches of 3rd and 4th place, and that's really going to affect him going on. I get the feeling he's trying to hang on to the halfway point and stretch these tyres. No one wants to do a second stop. No one wants to stop twice. It's just far too slow in terms of the lap time. But you have to also think about if you're losing an extra 0.6 of a second every lap, you might have to figure out putting a fresh pair of boots on. Paulie Dog has now actually got a 1:44.2. He's actually done his fastest lap. So it just goes to show it's not always a case of the last lap over the line. It's always about how you finish your stint. Now, Dan RC 2010 riding on board with him down towards the pit straight. And you can see that gap to Skanky Puppy has definitely come down. Looking at the last lap performances, you can see a 1:43.9. 1:43.9 for Paulie Dog. Wow! What a lap time that is! He's opened nearly 2 seconds on 1 lap to Skanky Puppy and a full second to Dan RC 2010. That is mighty pace from Paulie Dog. Just when you needed it, that's almost Schumacher-esque in the way that he pulls the lap time out exactly when he needs it. If that, I take it back, Nightfall's Flipper. You're right, Paulie Dog certainly seems to have the greatest pace. Also suggests to me that Paulie Dog might be coming into the pits very shortly. If he's starting to do lap times like that, he's going to be pushing his tyres to the absolute edge, and then at that point, into the pits, fresh pair of boots, get himself going. Moving further back for the Velga Football, 676 number 1, very much on his own in 5th place in the RUF. Harry Mansell 1980 in 6th place, he's very much on his own. Then you got H-Cole 15, also very much on his own. It's kind of a, what do you expect of you? We got Diogo Pinto currently going through turn, he's in 8th place, sorry now, Diogo Pinto. Evidently one of the tyre things hadn't been able to strap up. And then for Night 4001 still down in 9th place, he'll be bitterly disappointed with that. And then Wheel rounds off the top 10, but he actually has Wisner in the the RUF closing in down. So I might remain on board here for a while, give a bit of a battle for the last point to give a bit of different views. On the stream, Flubber Racing simply saying amazing. I'm guessing that's a lap time reaction to Paulie Dog, who pulled that out of the bag from nowhere like a rabbit from the hat of a magician, heading through turn 4, and you can see, look at that wheel goes very wide there, and as a result Wisner gets a very better line heading towards turn 5. Is he going to try and undercut him here, or go around the outside NASCAR style around the wall of death? But a bit too wide there, karting line tries to get a straighter entrance off a higher speed down towards turn 7 to try and intimidate Wheel into a mistake, but the McLaren MP4-12C driver is simply saying you shall not pass at the moment. But you can see that Wisner has got a lot more pace here going through turn 9. He sees there's so much more power, so much more grunt, and you can see that Wheel is really struggling to keep behind. He's weaving on the straight line there. You can't do that. You will find yourself falling foul of the Stewart. He goes on the inside, tries to take the opposite line. Wisner goes on the inside. This could be a magnificent overtake. Bit of contact on the outside, but Wisner sneaks through, and then Wheel drops it. Wheel spun the car after the collision, and Wisner goes slightly up the circuit. Now, was that a case of Wisner stealing all the traction, or was that a case of Wisner attacking as much as he could? Dan RC2010, meanwhile, has obviously come out of the pits, as he's got Diogo Pinto right behind him now. That is a key barometer, because Diogo Pinto pitted very early, so if you're coming out around him, that will show you where your position kind of pace would be by going into the pits. We'll remain on board here. Diogo Pinto's boots are a bit older, they'll be up to temperature, whereas ahead of him Dan RC2010's got fresh ones, but they will be ice cold, and it's an opportunity for Diogo Pinto to pounce. Heading through turn 7 and 8, you can see that Diogo Pinto starting to close up a little bit here, heading into turn 9, going on towards the straightaway at the back of turn 10, but he's just not quite got the traction. And Dan RC2010 now is pulling away. Score 15 in 6th place, is now very much on his own, but that might not last for much longer. Harry Mansell in 5th place, Football 67601, and Paulie Dog is in the pits. I called it. He's there. Jamie has not gone into the pits, and neither has Skunky Puppy. So this is going to be interesting here. Let's roll on board with Paulie Dog. He's coming out of the pits now, the BMW M3, as Wheel 77 is back in the pits after that spin. I don't know if that's a retirement there from the McLaren driver. Cooler coming up here, Score 15 is possibly going to go ahead of Paulie Dog. This is going to be pretty tight, this. Paulie Dog is going to come out in 7th place at the moment, but Dan RC2010, how much closer to him is he? Answer, not very. Dan RC2010's actually lost that quite badly there. So Paulie Dog has taken big advantage. Jamie F430, meanwhile, is staring at the back of Skunky Puppy. So Skunky Puppy has gone longer as we've just gone past the halfway mark of this race. Can Skunky Puppy stretch those tyres and make it so that he's on a quicker charge towards the end when Paulie Dog's boots might be starting to wear? It's a big question, really. It's going to be a difficult one to answer. Paulie Dog going through turn 5 at the moment, so turn 4, going up to turn 5, catching up to Harry Mansell 1980 in the RUF, and I don't believe Harry Mansell's stopped yet. So these drivers are all very much out of sequence. The question is, has Paulie Dog got the net lead or not? Looking further back, Dan RC2010 slightly under threat for Diogo Pinto, but not seriously. Night 4001 meanwhile is in 9th place, way on his own, and then Will 2418 is in 10th place, ahead of Wisner and Wheel. Wheel's the torrid time of that mistake he made. Wisner is in the pits. So moving further back forward then, unfortunately, we're at that point where the action has reached its lull. However, that will very much change shortly, I get the feeling, because Paulie Dog has started to catch up quickly to the back of that RUF being targeted by Ace Colour 15. And Ace Colour 15, let's not forget, he went into the pits early on this race, so he's going to be trying to nurse those tyres. He's going to be trying to look after those tyres. Paulie Dog, on the other hand, he'll be on all-out attack, knowing that he's done more than half the race on that one set. Now, Paulie Dog has just leapt up to 4th place there because Skunky Puppy has gone into the pits, and Dan RC2010 has undercut him. Dan RC2010 has gone ahead of Skunky Puppy, and interestingly, Diogo Pinto side by side. Diogo Pinto goes around the outside. Skunky Puppy tries to hang on the inside turn 2, then push tyres into turn 3. But Diogo Pinto may have stolen a march here and got past Skunky Puppy. Indeed he has. But Skunky Puppy is looking on the inside turn 4, trying to do it the other Aston Martin driver, but Diogo Pinto has pulled a masterstroke. He has gone ahead, and so has Don RC 2010. Last season's champion is pretty much in a net 4th place, but Diogo Pinto goes wide at turn 5. That's going to allow Skunky Puppy to attack him in the RUF. Well, Skunky Puppy really trying to get as close as he can with these cold tyres, this fresh rubber, trying to intimidate Diogo Pinto into a mistake. But so far, Diogo Pinto is hanging on. Goes wide at turn 9. That's going to affect his straight line exit. Skunky Puppy commits to the outside. Goes past before the braking zone. Can he get the car stopped? Can he avoid going wide on cold tyres? Diogo Pinto tries to cut back across him, but Diogo Pinto just has not got the ground. And as a result, Skunky Puppy goes back ahead. But Diogo Pinto is an incredibly racy driver. We've seen before that he's not afraid of late lunges and hard charges. And I get the feeling he's going to follow us right above here. And Skunky goes a bit wide, got the inside there, kipping the curve a bit too much. But Diogo Pinto gets on the accelerator, really gets into the slipstream. Is Skunky Puppy going to go defensive here, like he did to Paulie Doug? So far he's keeping it in a straight line. Diogo Pinto has come out just ahead of JDF 430. He's not on the 7th place. And in towards turn 1, and no, Diogo Pinto does not have the legs. Don RC 2010, meanwhile, he will have a grin like a Cheshire cat for getting ahead of Skunky Puppy, last season's champion. Paulie Doug, meanwhile, is a long way clear in the BMW M3. That just shows you the net gain that Paulie Doug made. Esco Vindiz is 2nd place, and Football 67611 will be having his door open and celebrating like he's had a victory so far, because for once he's in the lead, and he's going to enjoy it for a while. It's a question of whether he can make those tyres last, or if he's going to have to come into the pits. Looking back, meanwhile, Skunky Puppy still being chased by Diogo Pinto in the Aston Martin's battle of the Brits here, well, in terms of the cars anyway. Big locker for Skunky Puppy into turn 7, and that might allow Diogo Pinto to close some critical ground. Indeed it does, and Diogo Pinto might be trying to go around the outside of 9. That's an unbelievably brave attempt, but he's just not got the grip. However, look at the traction that's got him up to the inside of Skunky Puppy, who takes the middle ground of the track, heading into the hairpin as JBF 430 flashing his headlights to say you are not alone. It's a trio of Aston Martins battling here like it's for about 24 hours, heading around Catalunya's turns 10, 11 and 12, and Skunky is sliding the car again into turn 13. Diogo Pinto has potentially got him on the ropes here. Skunky Puppy is really struggling, getting on the inside, and again Skunky will come into the inside curve, and Diogo Pinto gets on the gas, puts the inside curve beautifully, gets right in the slipstream. We're going to see Skunky being very defensive here, goes to the pit wall, Diogo Pinto follows him, and then back to the outside as Skunky Puppy starts weaving. JBF 430 looks out ahead, and meanwhile when the BMW Z4 comes out, JD should clear him and get into clear air. And we have Diogo Pinto watching as Skunky goes a bit too deep at turn 1, and that compromises his line at 2. Into turn 3, Diogo Pinto might fancy a tighter line, getting right into the slipstream, trying to go around the outside. As Skunky tries to run him out of road, the battle of the Aston Martins. Diogo Pinto gets deep in the slipstream, trying to attack turn 4, but he's just not close enough. If you are watching out there on the stream, please get your comments in, because there's been breathless action so far. Again, if you're watching on the YouTube channel replay, make sure you get your channels, your subscription to subscribe to, and also drop a message and a like if you can as well. As Diogo Pinto gets into the slipstream, do the only can possible to put Skunky Puppy on the ropes here. Skunky Puppy will not have been expecting to be battling for 5th place in the middle of the race like this. He'll have expected to romp away, but the last season's champion cannot be under any illusions now. Up ahead, Don RC 2010, who's gone quite a bit wide there in the BMW Z4. Paulie Doug, meanwhile, is up ahead, trying to catch up to 2nd place. Even though these guys have yet to box, he's not going to stop it. We're heading towards the final third of the race, only 22 minutes to go here, as the cameras are starting letting me down again. And Skunky's gone off! Skunky moves off at turn 13! That's going to really allow Diogo Pinto to close the gap. Diogo Pinto has a great line through turn 13 and 14. Look at how close to the beam he was there! He was right under that wing! gets deep in the slipstream, really into the toe, as Skunky Boo starts weaving left and right, centre of Monaco in many ways, in terms of the changes of direction. But Skunky Boo seems to have a longer gearbox in that Aston Martin, and that's allowing it to break enough of the toe, heading into turn 1, but Skunky Boo goes a bit too wide, and interestingly, JBF 430 has joined the party. It's 3 Aston Martins abreast going through turn 3. JBF 430 bringing up the rear as Diogo Pinto goes wide to that little green AstroTurf for the extra runoff, and you can see that Skunky Boo is trying to resist. Jeff Boycott's asking the cricket in the way. He's making the car as wide and obstinate as possible, and you can really see that these drivers are giving it their all. 21.5 minutes to go here. Breathless action from White's the flag at the Circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona, Spain. Round 1. Let's not forget that. Round 1 of the PlayStation 4 Season 2 GT3 League. Next week we are at Imola for our tribute to the San Marino Grand Prix, and that's going to be a fantastic race. Then after that, Silverstone, one of the first of our Blue Ribbon events in the Formula A's. That'll be a change of direction for these guys, and that'll be a potential curveball for who's got the best pace. Going wide off the circuit a little bit there is Diogo Pinto, and that allows Jamie F430 in the third of the Aston Martins to get as close as he dares, rather than that almost like BP or that luminous livery behind the other 2 Aston Martins. Jamie F430. Oh, collision! Skunky Puppy has dropped it! Collected Diogo Pinto, and that's allowed Jamie F430 to swoop on through! What the hell just happened? Skunky Puppy goes into the pits. Evidently, I don't know, is this going to be a retirement potentially here? Skunky Puppy will be furious with himself. Unbelievable, Diogo Pinto goes ahead, 94001. It's going to go ahead of Skunky Puppy now. Skunky Puppy in the pits. Are we going to see any fresh tyres there? Let's ride on board. Looks like he's getting some work done in the pits. He's come out. I wonder if he's treating it like a penalty, I don't know. But needless to say, Skunky Puppy has got his title defence off to the worst possible start, dropping it at turn 13 and spinning into Diogo Pinto. Jamie F430 has swooped on by and picked up all the glory. Dan RC 2010 in the BMW Z4 with a quiet chase. Paulie Dog, meanwhile, riding in the BMW M3. I don't know why it's not reset to him. I want them. Okay, my camera's just gone off for some reason. I don't know why it's done that. I do apologise for this. Getting back to the action there, you can see that Paulie Dog has still not been able to get past Ace Killer 15 in the RUF. Now, these drivers up front have yet to stop as far as I can tell. So, it's a question of whether Ace Killer 15 is going to be able to hang on. Paulie Dog trying to start the slipstream at the back of Ace Colour 15, who's doing a great job. Football 676, no one else coming to the pits. He's serving his pit stop now. This could be interesting because while he's made those tyres last longer, he's going to be on the faster rubber for a shorter period of time. Pardon me, viewers, frog in my throat, I do apologise. Going for a turn 1 and 2, Paulie Dog looking to attack the back of Ace Killer 15, who is now your race leader. But you get the feeling that's not going to be for very long here, as Paulie Dog in the BMW M3 starts to attack, really doing all he can to get this going. Goes wide on the outside into turn 4. Goes around the inside absolutely beautifully there, as Ace Colour 15 is starting to attack, starting to really close up to the back. Paulie Dog really on him very quickly indeed. Going back through the field, let's see where everybody else is. So I'll try and die quietly, but I've got some phlegm right on the back of my throat and stopping me speaking properly. So that's why I've just had to pretty much make that sound like I'm dying. I do apologise. So 94001 gets on the inside of you. Also got football 6761 down in 7th place now. Skunky Puppy all the way down in 8th after that mistake. Then you got Javi Mansell 1918, the RUF, attacking him in 9th. So Diogo Pinto will be pleased to have been able to recover after 2 mistakes here at this race weekend. He's in 5th place at the moment. Jamie F430 meanwhile has done a great job in the Aston Martin. He's up in 4th place, rocking along as much as he can. Dan RC 2010 punched way above his weight in 3rd place. Then you got Paulie Dog. He was on pole position, had that battle with Skanky Bobby where he was potentially hard done by the way Skanky Bobby was defending, but Paulie Dog has been able to hang on. Now, the interesting question is Ace Killer. I don't think he's been into the pits for some time, and those tyres will be very, very worn indeed. Look at flame from the back of Paulie Dog there as the BMW M3 fires up through the overrun, heading down towards turn 5. That V8 power giving it the little bit of a kick down towards turn 5. Get a decent run out of that towards turn 6, 7 and 8. Paulie Dog really on a charge at the moment, doing everything he can to close up to the back. Base Killer 15, who's really attacking the circuit as much as he dares, but those tyres of his will be bleeding after all the pressure they've been on. Quick run down on the fastest lap time. So 1:44.0 is Ace Killer's fastest lap time. 1:44.9 is Paulie Dog's. 1:44.1 is Dan RC 2010. Then Jamie F430 is on 1:44.4. Then we got 1:44.2 from Diogo Pinto. 1:44.0 from Football 67611. And then from Night 400, sorry. 1:45.2 from Football 67621. And a 1:44.4 from Skanky. 1:44.3 from Skanky 1P. So Skanky hasn't had the fastest outright lap pace, but he's also been a bit scruffy. As Paulie Dog cuts a bit the inside chicane there, but we saw Skanky Bobby do it all the way through the earlier part of the race. Maybe it's for Paulie Dog to reach that point that he wants to get in on the action himself. Now getting into the substream at the back of Ace Killer 15, just not quite close enough as we are into the final quarter of this race. Only 15 minutes to go. These drivers have really got to attack now in these final 10 laps or so. You got a feeling that Paulie Dog is the odds-on favourite to win. But we see so many races in XRL where someone's looked odds-on favourite and then they dropped it at the last corner. Or look at Toyota at this year's Le Mans 24 Hour. They led for hours, were way in front, and then 3 minutes from the end, the car let them down. Anything can happen in motor racing. Going through turn 5, Paulie Dog really on the attack towards turn 7 and 8. And the BMW M3 in his hands almost seeming to sing as it goes around the circuit, really attacking that track. Bit of bouncy action, bit of our hydraulic suspension from Ace Killer 15 there. Really not the fastest way to get around the track, but it's doing him well so far. Ace Killer 15 managing to defend for now, but Paulie Dog is really on the offensive here as we're coming into the final stages of this race. I had a mad thought the other day, viewers, who would actually be up for doing a 24-hour stream? Has anyone got the balls to do it? A special charity race where everyone can donate. 24 hours of broadcasting. So going down the final pit straight here, and you can see that we've got Paulie Dog looking to attack as much as he can. Getting goals in that gap on the back of Ace Killer 15, who is somehow still making those tyres to stay on the rim. But Paulie Dog is closing him down, hand over fist. Looking at the fastest laps from last time, a 1:44.1 from Paulie Dog, a 1:44.6 from Ace Killer 15. But interestingly, Dan RC 2010, a 1:43.8. Where did that come from? Dan RC 2010 has suddenly found a hell of a lot of pace. Flipper Racing, meanwhile, is simply saying maybe on the stream. Yes, maybe indeed. We might have to look into that. I might see if I can sort something out for my house, get a few people up here to make it happen, make it a bit easier for everyone to get involved. Paulie Dog's really closed the gap now on the back of Ace Colour 15. The RUF driver trying to hang on to the lead as we've got 12 minutes remaining here at the Circuit de Catalunya in Spain, and heading down towards turn 10. You can see that Paulie Dog has really wrestled that car in, really starting to close the gap on him. Going a little wide there, a bit out of shape actually, Paulie Dog. Seemed a bit hesitant on the power, and Dan RC 2010 has quietly pulled himself into the frame at the back here, and I get the feeling that Dan RC 2010 fancies a similar thing happening between these two as between Diogo Pinto and also between Skanky Puppy. We saw what happened at turn 13 between them, so don't write him off. Paulie Dog getting on the inside curve as much as he can, getting into the slipstream, attacking the inside of the back of that RUF. The BMW M3 really attacking the course here, but you can see that he's just finding it so difficult to get up close. Heading into turn 3, Paulie Dog's closer than he's been for a long time. Ace Colour 15 is trying to hang on the ragged edge. 11.5 minutes to go. Count them down, viewers, as he heads towards turn 4. Ace Colour 15 resisting with all his might here, as Paulie Dog in the BMW M3 is hunting him down like a predator after a xenomorph. Turn 5, getting as close as he can. You can see Paulie Dog having a big attack on the back of Ace Colour 15. This looks like, to me, as far as I can tell, the closest battle on track at the moment. Going back through, Dan RC 2010's on his own, so is Jamie. Diogo Pinto's on his own. Nightfall 001 is on his own. Football is 2. Hammy Mansell has actually got Skanky Puppy nearby somewhere, but not too far, not too close enough. So I'd actually say that going back to the leaders is the way to do this. And Paulie Dog in the BMW M3, look how much that gap has closed down. Ace Colour 15 over turn 10 into 11 and 12. And Paulie Dog in the BMW M3, he got pole position. He wants that race victory. He's not likely to get the Grand Slam because of that lap time from Dan RC 2010. But anything is possible here. A bit of a mistake there for Ace Colour 15. And that's allowed Paulie Dog to close the gap. Heading out of 13 and 14 and 15 into the kink at 16. Paulie Dog has to attack and has to attack now. Getting into the slipstream as much as he can. We're getting a bit wobbly over the curb there at the end of 16. That will compromise this traction, and that affects him. Paulie Dog getting into the slipstream behind Ace Colour 15. We're into the final 10 minutes of this race. Anything is possible. Getting into the brake lines there. You can see Ace Colour 15 drifting slow into the inside curve, slowly depriving him of room. Masterful driving considering he was ahead of him for so long. Ace Colour 15 just about hanging on, but Paulie Dog really closing the gap. Going through turn 3, gets into the slipstream, starts to attack. Heading towards turn 4, is he going to fancy a lunge here? Ace Colour 15 sees him coming, tries to jump across him. Is that going to compromise his line through turn 4 and put him under attack through turn 5? Ace Colour 15 watches on as Paulie Dog goes to the inside trying to attack, but he's just not close enough into him to go to the final stages of this race. Heading through turn 5, gets into the slipstream there. Ace Colour 15 resisting with all his might. Heading towards 7, 8 and 9. Paulie Dog furiously frustrated as once again he's held up by a driver who is just too stubborn to get out of the way, and that is racing. That's how it should be. Paulie Dog gets on the slipstream as much as he can on the back of Ace Colour 15, attacking as much as is possible. Heading around through turn 10, gets a decent run there. Heading out through turn 11 into 12, gets a nice tight line there. Look how much tighter he took that than Ace Colour 15. Then Ace Colour 15 goes off the circuit, kicks up gravel, and goes wide at 13. That's going to seriously compromise his line, but Paulie Dog will have seen what happened between Diogo Pinto and Skanky Puppy. He doesn't want to repeat that, but Ace Colour 15 goes slightly off the circuit at the end of 15 into 16, but Paulie Dog has somehow lost traction, and that's robbed him once again of an opportunity to attack. Getting into the slipstream, Paulie Dog is getting dangerously close to himself for second place here, because Ace Colour 15, against all odds, is resisting him, somehow hanging on. Paulie Dog looking at the back of Ace Killer 15, trying to attack as much as he can. Really get on the offensive here. Ace Killer 15 is doing all possible to hold him up. Dan RC 2010, meanwhile, is using this to his advantage. He's starting to close that gap up. We look at the lap times. Well, let's just wait for turn 5 to get our way. Gets an overtake here. No, Ace Killer 15 just hangs on. You can see last lap. It was a 45.5 from Ace Killer 15, and Paulie Doug a 45.8. A 44.0 is what Dan RC 2010 said. 1.5 seconds faster. On the street, Flipper Racing is saying, go Ace, go. Well, so far he's managed it. So far he's hung on. He's been the immovable object to Paulie Doug's unstoppable force. But there is time for that to change. Heading into turn 10, as you can see, Dan RC 2010, like an assassin, has come himself right up from the inside. He's really closed that gap down. Do not count Dan RC 2010 out for victory here. After that start he had where he went backwards through the field, he's really found his form when it counts. Ace Killer 15 somehow hanging on through turns 13 and 14, and you can see Paulie Doug watches through 15. He's has a little tail slip there out of turn 16, but at the same time Paulie Doug watches as Ace Killer goes a little wide there, and that allows Paulie Doug to get tighter into the slip through than he's ever been. He's closer than he's ever got so far. He might fancy a late lunge because he's running out of time, running out of laps. Indeed he does, very late on the brakes of Paulie Doug. A little bit of contact there, but that allows Paulie Doug to go through. That was less than a late break as Daniel Ricciardo-esque. Absolutely beautiful overtake. And Paulie Doug will now know it's got to get the hammer down because Dan RC 2010 in a BMW Z4 has been closing hand over fist. Only 5 minutes left here, and after that we will be at the end of this race, the opening round of the PlayStation 4 GT3 Season 2. And Paulie Doug looks on favourite to take victory now. But Dan RC 2010 has been eating into his time hand over fist, thanks to him being held up by Ace Killer, who did everything he could to take a great victory. He fought hard, but has just fallen short, as Dan RC 2010 was very wide at 9, cuts the grass, he goes so wide there. Behind him, meanwhile, Jamie F430 is quite a way behind, so it's very much a case of who's close enough. Ace Killer 15, I get the feeling he's not out of this race, you know. I get the feeling Ace Killer might fancy his chances here because Paulie Doug has not broken too far away from him. Going through turn 13 into the 14-15 chicane section. Ace Killer 15 looking at the back of Paulie Doug, who has got to try and break clear, try and break free, because Dan RC 2010 is knocking on his door and trying to take back that lead. And meanwhile, the power of the RUF gets into the slipstream of the BMW. Could this be a potential factor here? Could this be a turning point right at the end of the race? Ace Killer 15 gets as close as he can, but he's just not close enough to attack. Ace Killer 15 has to settle back into second place at turns 1 and 2, but Dan RC 2010 has started to close the gap even further. Looking at the last lap times, Diogo Pinto is, just give you an update on him, he's not even showing on the field now, okay? He's running in 5th place on the 44.2, but a 44.4 was Paulie Doug's last lap time. Ace Killer's a 45.6, Dan's a 44.7. Paulie Doug finding critical pace when he needed it. Riding on board as Ace Killer 15 starts to attack as much as he can, but Dan RC 2010 is not letting him get away. I think Dan wants that second place. I'm not sure he's got enough time to catch up to Paulie Doug, who's started to find his form again, but Dan RC 2010 does have time to take Ace Killer and take away that second place. But Ace Killer still looks like he's going to be on for a very good podium here, because he's fought hard to get himself into the lead and hang on. Dan RC 2010 is now closer than he's ever been to the back of him, and it's a matter of when rather than if, I suspect. However, there's only 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go. Oh, but look at this! So much for that! He went wide, heading for the outside of turn 12, and Dan RC 2010 goes, well, thank you very much. I didn't think it'd be that easy. Riding on board with Dan RC 2010 going through turn 16, and you can see that gap is just a bit too far. looking at the fastest lap times, you can see he goes over, breaks the beams at 1:44.2. Paulie Dog's just done a 1:43.9. He's just not got the pace. Dan RC 2010 is definitely going to come second here, barring a catastrophic error. As Jamie F430 is doing well to hang on to 4th place at the moment. Diogo Pinto coming around the final corner in 5th place. Nightfall001, a strong recovery driver, him into 6th place. Then in 7th, we've got Football 67601 who's done a decent job. Hammy Mansell down in 8th, and then Skanky Puppy, a bitterly disappointing 9th. And then Weister will be in 10th to bring up the rear of the point positions. But let's ride our body with Dan RC 2010. As you can see, he goes round turn 5. Well, that gap is just not coming down at the moment, is it? Ace Colour 15, meanwhile, looking to run out of room and run out of rubber, as we've only got 2 minutes left here. Ooh, Dan RC20 gets a bit too much gravel going through turns 7 and 8 there. Oh, but spin! Who's that spun behind? It's not Ace Colour, I don't think. Indeed it isn't, it's not Ace Colour. Ace Colour survived, there's only been a bit of last lot drama there pretty much. But Dan RC 2010 in the BMW Z4, he'll be, well, he's going to pretty much finish where he started. He's going to lie astern with his qualifying, but we're disappointed he's not had the chance to take the victory here. Having said that, with his early mistakes and the early lap positions he lost out on, I don't think he's going to be complaining to be taking 2nd place and 18 points. But all eyes will be on Paulie Dog, who has fought hard. Let's not make this sound like he's had it easy. He qualified on pole, was overtaken by Skanky Puppy, then had the duel where Skanky Puppy made it very difficult for him to pass. Then he had that duel with Ace Killer, who was equally obdurate and difficult. It's been far from easy for Paulie Dog, but we're into the final 60 seconds of this race, and what a race it has been. It's been an absolute corker with lots of action all the way through the field. For those of you who haven't watched this live on Twitch.tv, thank you all very much. For those of you out there who are going to be watching the YouTube replay or the Twitch replay, please put a like and subscribe and get your messages and your comments in to see more from us. We are going to have more leagues coming soon. There is going to be an F1 2016 league on the PlayStation 4, which I will be heading up. We also expect the Xbox guys to come back as well. So for you esports racing junkies, there's going to be a lot more coming very, very soon. So make sure you're all watching. Well, Paulie Dog, he's not even going to get the chance to complete the lap here because he is going to be timed out. But Dan RC 2010 ran out of time, ran out of laps, and unfortunately has to take 2nd place. But you'll be happy with that. Paulie Dog will be very, very chuffed to have got a victory and to go himself off to the best possible start. Meanwhile, the biggest loser here, of course, is Skanky Puppy. Skanky Puppy is all the way down in 9th. And he's defending his title. Interestingly, a bit of last fracas here, as Nightfall001 has been passed by Football 676-1. Not sure how that happened, so Nightfall001 will not be happy with that. Jamie F430, meanwhile, in the Aston Martin, comes round in 4th place. Dan RC 2010 will coming up to complete the lap time. He weaves left and right as he should and takes victory. Only a few seconds behind Dan RC 2010. Great racing from these two BMW drivers. Ace Colour 15, he will be very, very happy indeed. So I've got a 3rd place. And then Jamie F430, he did very well indeed in the Aston Martin. Diogo Pinto riding on board with him now. He had to recover after being taken out in an incident with Skanky Puppy, and that has put him well down the field, but he's done well to recover and take an excellent 5th place. He'll be happy with that. Football 676-1 being followed by Nightfall001, but you can see that Nightfall001 is just not close enough to attack. Football 676-1 comes to the start-finish line, takes 6th place. Nightfall001 does an excellent 7th. Then we've got Hammy Mansell coming through to complete 8th place on the field here. Great opportunity for him to get some points. Skanky Puppy will be bitterly disappointed to be crossing the last line in 9th place. Then we've got Weister 3, who's way down the field order, but he's down in 10th place and getting a final point. On the screen, meanwhile, great comment from from Flipper Racing, who simply says, "Great race." Indeed it was. What a race that was from these guys. I'm going to take a quick screenshot of the result for you all now. So that's there safe. I have to say that that was a very excellent performance from all the drivers on the field. And all you people out there who watch, thank you very much too. Whoops, what the hell? Sorry for blowing up the message board, didn't mean to do that. So, it's been an exciting race and an exciting round. Well, what do you expect? The PlayStation 4 GT3 League, that's what we're all about. Next week, we are going to be live and exclusive on twitch.tv for a second round GT3 at Imola in Italy. One of the classic circuits, an absolute corker, and I'm sure you're all in for an absolute treat. As all these drivers go around to complete themselves into the box, all I've got to say is that I have been Peter Marcroft, you've all been watching Excite Racing League. Thank you all very, very much indeed, and good night.